And welcome back to more Fruit of Grisaia, or Grisaia no Kaijitsu. In the last episode, we had to sneakily avoid assassination from Amane. Oh, not really. She wasn't really trying to kill us. She was just trying to sneak in to give us a kiss because she's a sweetheart like that, or she's crazy. I'm leaning more towards crazy. But nevertheless, let's continue on with the video. What is solution A and solution B? Find out right now. Maybe. Probably not, though.
頭皮のズキズキを想像すると憂鬱になってくるわね。でもこれをやらないと色が綺麗な金髪でいられないからな。やけどしたみたいに痛いけど仕方ないのよミチル。我慢しなきゃ。
Is that supposed to burn like that? I mean, I don't dye my hair, but I don't know. Maybe so.
ああ、そうだ。一応皮膚に保護のためのクリームを塗り塗りと。ではこれを頭に。はっ！
Something happened. Although it's not uncommon to hear someone who acts in bizarre or stupid ways derided as a space alien as a general rule. The aliens I've seen in movies possess advanced intelligence surpassing humanity's. In some, they're even depicted as virtual gods, manipulating genetic sequences to control human evolution. Do aliens exist? And if you ask scientific authorities on the subject, they'll tell you, in all likelihood, yes. But just as the children's eyes begin to sparkle, the scientists tack on malicious afternote. Not that they're anything like what you're thinking. Even if we do find some alien water flea wriggling around a distant planet, I can't imagine it will inspire too passionate a response from the general public. The people don't want a rip-off like that for their ET. What they want is a simple, by-the-book alien. Although I've experienced a wide range of auditory stimuli in my time, this is quite the ear-splitting shriek. There is considerable distance between me and the source, so there's no damage to my eardrums, but if I had to approach, I needed to prepare myself a pretty decent set of earmuffs. Compared to the 120 decibels produced by the engine of a civilian aircraft, this is no match in pure volume, but when you consider the sheer unpleasantness factor, it's a pretty competitive match. Again, mind explaining what's going on, please?
これはチルチルの儀式なのよ。これが始まったらしばらくは続くのよさ。
How long is a while? Several days? Weeks?
そんなに長くはないのよ。スペインのトマト祭りだって1時間しかやらないんだから。
What exactly is that woman doing, other than shrieking like a banshee?
それが私にもわからないのよさ。チルチル宇宙人説っていうのが一番濃厚なのよ。変な声出してマザーシップとコンタクトしてるんじゃないかって踏んでるのよさ。まあ一種の儀式だわな。
Communicating with the stars, eh? I see. Plausible. That woman is definitely a little out of the ordinary.
そうそう。ちょっとね。あれなのよ。おつむか。
I don't think you should necessarily talk.
そうなのよね。強くね。言えないと思うのよね。あ？
Necessarily? I'm somewhat interested in the nature of this ceremony. Let's take a look, shall we?
私はチルチルのあんな姿を見たくないから失礼するのよさ。
Suit yourself? Like that? Like what exactly?
口では説明できないのよ。
I see, then I'll do just that, thank you. As I approached Michiru's room, I noticed a strange stench in the air. This is foul. Some kind of gas? The membranes of my nose twitch in response. My body recalls the tension it's known in the field. I did receive training to retain the capacity for action even when caught in a cloud of tear gas, but it doesn't matter how much training you have. The irrepressible coughing and running nose, the pain in your eyes, and the irritation of your skin will always lower your effectiveness. No, my mistake. This isn't gas. I thought it might have been dispersed pepper spray, but that seems to have been a misjudgment. The odor's terrible, sure, but it's not dense enough to affect my... What's this? The ceremony marking I was talking about? It hurts. What's that supposed to mean? Ceremony. Don't tell me it involves human sacrifice. When you come to think of human sacrifice, the Mayan civilization is what comes to mind. In order to offer tribute to the god of the sun, it said they would paint a human being blue and gouge out their still beating heart. But ceremonies like that should have been ancient history by now. And in the first place, we're in Japan here, you know? It's hard to believe, but if Michiru happens to have painted her body blue, then it's bingo. Whoa, she's emerged. I immediately tumble my way across the hall with a skillful shoulder roll, hide myself in the shadows, and silence the sound of my breath. She appears to wrap herself in some sort of plastic. Perhaps some sort of ritual of sorts? Or shrieking howls. A mating call, maybe. In this moment, I know fear. Not the fear of death or the fear of darkness. This is, in fact, a variety of terror completely new to me. To explain its nature concisely, what the hell is this? This, my friend, is anime. Welcome to the world. Michiru's body was not, in fact, dyed blue, which is all well and good, but rolls of cling wrap are draped all around her head. From inside, a mysterious sap drips out in globs. Just as Machina said, Michiru's eerie, irregular movements are reminiscent of a space alien. This must be the particular variety of terror that accompanies a close encounter of the third kind. If I'm discovered, all bets are off. It's that sort of fear. Michiru wanders around the hallway with vacant eyes. Her cries are truly bizarre. Is she receiving a message? Or could that shriek itself be a transmission to the stars? Oh, goodness me. Michiru draws near. Her lips are trembling violently, and her eyes seem to have rolled back in her head. She passes my hiding place and wanders off somewhere. It's been a long time since I wished so desperately from the bottom of my heart, please don't find me. She's left a slimy trail behind her, like a slug. I thought she was nothing more than a tsundere wannabe. Think she'd conduct such a mysterious ritual. Clearly, I need to handle her with more caution. Citizen Sakaki, let me ask you instead. What are you doing standing up like that? As for me, I was just taking evasive action in response to a certain crisis.
Kiki? So,
I stand up, brushing off the dust my clothes picked up during my roll across the floor. Incidentally, what are your thoughts on extraterrestrial life? I know it's a difficult question, but I want to organize my own thoughts on the matter. Please let me hear your opinion. Sakaki answers my sudden question without hesitation. What?
宇宙からのファーストコンタクト。それは思いもよらない形から始まる。最初は予兆、そして接触。人間たちは未知の恐怖に怯え、理解よりも警戒が勝ってしまう。その結果、人々は安らかな睡眠のために武器を手に取ることを選択するのよ。
Battle for survival, huh? Sometimes there's no room for any other choice. And there's an old saying, the first blow is half the battle.
でもナポレオンはこう言ってる。戦いは最後の5分間にある。
I see where you're going with this.
宇宙戦争は人類の敗北という形で幕を引く。恐怖から逃れるために武器を取ることは間違っている。と。
Novel? Oh, we were talking about a book?
当たり前じゃない。宇宙人についてなんて急に言われても答えようがないもの。
I see. My bad.
いいえ、別に。だけど、これからは廊下でのほふ前進は慎みなさい。
It's not like I enjoy it. Crawling, is it? True, the low crawl they teach every SDF grunt is a method of advancing with your body pressed flat on the ground, so it's not surprising you'd see it that way. But I didn't advance even a single meter now, did I? Your powers of observation are still lacking, Sakaki Yumiko, my friend. That was what we call the prone position.
来年に宇宙戦争が起こるというのは本当でしょうか?
I'm afraid so, my beloved maid. I'm afraid so. Oh, Sashi, what were you listening?
すみません。立ち聞きをしていたわけではないのですが、偶然耳に入ってしまって。
Sachi's anxious expression suggests she took my conversation with Sakaki completely seriously. Some words trip me up. That was one of them. I'd say that depends on the content of Michiru's reports. If she really is sending transmissions into space, their contents will decide our fate.
Michiru-samaが宇宙と交信を? それは初耳です。
She surprised us all, I'm afraid. Humankind ravages nature and slaughters innocent animals to eat their corpses. The aliens learn of our savage ways. We won't get off easy. If you want, we can go watch the crucial moment together.
はい、お供させていただきます。
There, you see. Hey, careful. Get any closer and you'll be in danger.
あの姿を見たのは初めてではありませんが、いつも通りショッキングです。
Listen, observe with caution. Can you see how her eyes have rolled back?
はい、白目を向いています。
Indeed, probably a sign she's under the control of the mothership.
母艦から、さすが風見さんです。そんなことがわかるなんて。
Well, I mean, it's only a hypothesis for the moment, but it's practically fact at this time. No normal human being would ever make a sound like that.
あれは何ですか? ひどく体をビクンビクンさせていますが。
She may very well be fighting with someone in the spirit world, but in the end, we're merely spectators. We can do nothing but watch over her battle.
ミチル様、大変な状況だったんですね。私、そんなこととはつゆ知らずにおりました。
Then again, we can also interpret this in a very different way.
と言いますと?
That's a dance.
ダンス?
Yes. At a glimpse, it may look like she's going into convulsions, but there's also a possibility that she's simply working on her moves.
頭から液体を垂らしながら踊りの練習。ミチル様は一味違いますね。
I agree. If you think of it as a modern dance expressing her inner self, I'd say this is actually pretty spot on.
ですが、ミチル様がダンスに精通しているなんて知りませんでした。踊っている姿を拝見したことがあ
That's
ま
why
り
she's
な
so
いもの
horrible
で。
at it. I didn't pick up those cooking skills in a day either. Expertise is the result of a hidden dedication to your craft. In other words, Michiru is sowing the seeds here and now for the future flowing of artistic accomplishment. Flowering of artistic accomplishment. あんな必死なお顔で
みちる様の努力には感服いたします。いつか素敵な暗黒舞踏を見せていただきたいものです。ねえ、二人で仲良く何してるの？
Shh, quiet. We're watching her dance.
今、みちる様のダンスの練習を見学していたところです。ダンス？どれどれ？ああ、なんだ、いつものあれじゃない。またやってるのね。
Doesn't it just bring a tear to your eye? It's beautiful.
まあ、それはそうね。でも、ちょっと怖くて見たくないな。
Don't you understand the magnificence of those movements? These steps express the terror of an invasion from outer space, truly avant-garde.
わかんないわよ。ただ痛みを我慢してるようにしか見えない。
Philistine, to think your frigidity would extend to the fine arts as well.
ちょっと待ってよ。待って何よ、待って。私不干渉じゃないでしょ。
Oh, really?
何よもう。あまねさん、言ってしまわれましたね。
What a sad human being. Can't even appreciate this work of art, or whatever it is, since I'm basically just making stuff up here.
なるほど。
Okay, we bored yet? I'm bored. Let's go.
いえ、まだ観察したいと思っています。
I see, you're passionate. I'm bored. Frankly, I get bored about 2 minutes in.
そうですか。では、私も掃除を続けたいと思います。それでは、失礼いたします。
Good work. If you observe any dramatic changes with Michiru, make sure to report them to me.
はい。
As I'm leaving, it occurs to me that Michiru's movements are also similar to those of a zombie. If that woman is in fact one of the undead, I suppose I'll have to put a bullet in her head. It's quite a shame, really. Compared to walking the earth as the living dead, I'm sure she would have wanted that way. When you take a walk like this, you realize just how wide a range of shops there is in town. Just for food, we've got butchers, fishmongers, greengrocers, and convenience stores. There's even 2 large supermarkets on either side of the station. In the town I was living in before, there was of course a shopping area, and its scale was adequate to avoid any problems in my daily life, but it was overall a pretty compact district, and most of the stores were small, family-owned businesses. Doesn't even bear comparison to what you find in a town fairly close to the metropolitan area like this one. I don't intend to estimate the wealth of the town by its facade alone, but looking at a number of chic retailers of clothes, jewelry, and other non-essential luxury goods, you'll naturally get an idea of this place's relatively high-class population. So, as for what I'm currently doing in this affluent town, I had been on my way to buy curtains for my windows, heading to a hardware store Mane told me about. Had been. Yeah, past tense. I noticed a certain abnormality about 10 minutes ago. Specifically, someone was on my tail. I thought my imagination might have just been acting up at first, but when I abruptly changed my course just to be safe, they came charging after me in a panic. There's no way this is a coincidence. There are 3 pursuers. Since they're following me in a group rather than dispersed individually, it's incredibly easy to tell. Pretending to look into the show window of a watch shop along the street, I casually glanced at their faces. But they weren't familiar in the slightest, and for a group with a grudge against my workplace, they seemed far too sloppy and dim-witted. Basically, they just looked just like a bunch of juvenile delinquents. Although naughty lads like this exist in my indie town, it feels like you actually find more of them in well-off places like this, and they tend to be of a particularly ugly variety. They say the poor can't afford manners. I find that living in a place where everything you need is dropped in your lap tends to twist people in its own way. Forget about hard work, and it's easy to fall into the warped way of thinking. Well then, what to do? What reason they have for following me around? Although I've been thinking it over for a while, nothing is coming to mind. In which case, it would probably be best to ask them directly. Guess I'll lead them into some nice dark alley. Looking around my surroundings perfectly casually, I'm startled when something unexpected catches my eye. Shit. Why did she have to appear at this, of all times? No, it's nothing. Are you on? Where's the money? Amane said that? Cheeky girl. Well, what can I do about this shrimp? At this rate, she might get mixed up in this. I thrust my hand into the rear pocket of my school uniform and pull out 3 10,000 yen notes, rolled up with a rubber band. It's hot today, isn't it? Makina, feel like some ice cream? What Amane doesn't know won't hurt her. I really want ice cream. Can you go buy some? Please? I'll explain it to Amane so she won't get mad at you, okay? I take Makina's hand and forcibly close it around the 30,000 yen. Really? Then go ahead and use the change to dabble in the stock market. Haven't you heard of penny stocks? Anyway, ice cream. Head over to the Baskin Robinson on the other side of the station. Make mine a caramel ribbon. Caramel ribbon. Double or triple or whatever's fine. Just get what you want. What? Because I'm too embarrassed to go into that place. Come on, get going. Amane said that? She said that. I figured. Cheeky girl. With who? While watching Makina trot off with the money clenched in her hand, I exhale slowly. The bunch following me doesn't show any signs of chasing after Makina and her money. In other words, they're not after me for my cash. It's not a robbery. I guess that would leave a personal grudge of some sort of class resentment. Either way, not a particularly welcome situation. Whoops, get that out. Well, whatever. After watching Makina disappear, I find an alley between a cleaner's and a liquor store, and casually turn it into it as if taking a shortcut.
Oi, あいつどこ行った?
逃げられたんか? だから言ったべよ。
あいつやっぱ気づいてたんだって。
言ってる間に探せよ、ボギー。ほんと使えねえな、てめえら。
あ？てめえらって何よ？俺も入ってんの？何それ？リーダー気取り？
んだこらてめえ。一度まぐれで勝ったぐらいで、随分とビッグなマウス叩いちゃってくれちゃってんじゃんよ。
やめろよ。今あんなことしてる場合じゃねえべよ。
Hey there.
あ、てめえ、どこに隠れてやがった？
Behind those beer cases. You need something?
Hey! のこのこと自分から出てきやがって。なんか用か。だってよ。
あんたそれ、美浜学園の制服だよな。
Yeah, it is. What about it?
じゃああんたには悪いんだけどもよ。
Why would you do that?
あ？理由なんかねえよ。ただおめえをボッコボコにしてだけ。
Hey, no, you're scaring me. Please stop. I can't stand violence.
悪くは思うなよ。こっちも仕事なんでな。
job.
Grisaia,
In an apparent attempt to intimidate me, the man fires a flashy burst of sparks from the stun gun in his hand. The discharge of electrical energy scorches particles of dust in the atmosphere. A burning smell fills the air, prickling the depths of my nose. I close my eyes. In the next moment, a siren rings out in my head. I'm in pouring rain, pushing through the mud at my feet, the taste of iron spreading through my mouth, hiding my body from the light of the flares, a knife dyed black in my hand, swallowing down my heart as it tries to leap out of my mouth. If you want to protect something, first protect yourself. Seems the time has come to make use of my super self-defense technique. I didn't want to use it. You left me no choice. As the man raises his stun gun and takes a fighting stance, I draw a huge breath into my lungs. And wringing out my voice is just the limit. I scream. Help me! Sorry, I'd yell a bit louder, but unfortunately it's late at night for me, so I don't wake anybody up. Someone help! Call the police! The man's stun gun discharges a threatening pale bluish arc of electricity in my general direction. I reach out and gently grasp his outthrust hand as if trying to shake. Well, guess that's about what you'd expect. In this narrow alley, all three can't attack me at once. Maybe he planned for this sort of cramped space, or maybe it's just a coincidence from prioritizing ease of concealment. Either way, the iron pipe in the man with the black tank top's hand is cut very short, not well suited for disabling me with a single blow. That said, the guy next to him with the knife isn't much use either. It might look like the most dangerous of the bunch at a glance, but a weapon like that is actually a hindrance if he's not planning to kill me. In this situation, the flashiest, easy-to-use weapon is also the most effective. The stun gun can stop me dead with a single attack. The idea would be to fire off a single shot to eliminate my mobility and crush my fighting spirit. Then have all three surround me and beat me senseless. No, that's just rude. I don't go around holding hands with men for the fun of it. Though it looks like a casual light grasp, truth is I've got a hold of the vital point of the hand he's holding the stun gun with. When I pressure on this exact spot, he can't push or pull as long as he's maintaining his grip. If he were to pull back hard using the weight of his body, he could rip his hand free, but I'm controlling his center of gravity as well, so that's sadly not an option. It's not like I'm grabbing you that hard. You're just like the monkey with his hand stuck in the jar. Might as well just drop the banana, right? At my words, the man's firm grip on his stun gun weakens for just an instant. In the moment, I feel like the loosening of his proximal phalanx bones. I twist his wrist sharply upward and dig my thumb hard into the side of his hand. Ooh, ugly. By first extending the joints of his wrist, then attacking them with the pinpoint pressure of my finger, I've completely disabled his ability to maintain a grip. The stun gun slips out of his hand. Whoops. Catching the stun gun as it falls from the man's hand, I jerk his arm upward to immobilize his elbow joint, then push him hard against the pile of beer cases stacked along the wall. I mash the man's face against the beer cases while maintaining my incapacitating wrist hold. In the next moment, I push the stun gun against the scruff of his neck and throw the switch without hesitation. One down. Here, catch. As the next man raises his short iron pipe above his head like a hammer, I abruptly toss a stun gun in his direction. The man reaches out in a panic to try to retrieve the stun gun. It's been a while since I've seen a bunch of clowns. I kick my knee up sharply into his virtually defenseless abdomen, instantly doubling over his belly in an instinctive attempt to protect the place he's been attacked. The man's chin sticks out as if he's begging to be kicked. Well, if you insist. The air that was in the man's lungs squirts out through his nose as his eyes roll back in his head. He crumbles face first onto the ground. I'll give you 2 seconds. Drop the knife.
来るな、こっち来んな。
1,
悪かった、もうやめる。だから。
2.
うわ
The man throws his knife in his hand aside and stumbles backward in a blind panic, trying to escape. And where are you going? I quickly trample down on his foot from above, sealing his movement, then strike hard at the base of his throat with the joint of my right thumb. His throat crushed in the middle of a breath. The man's momentarily compressed trachea sticks out shut under the inward pressure from his lungs, rendering breathing temporarily impossible. As the man claws desperately at his throat, his eyes bulge open wide and release a flood of tears. He falls with a thud onto his backside. I don't think we were done with our chat. You have to be a patient kid and listen to what the other has to say, or you won't get any snacks, okay? Glancing sidelong at the man as he grasps his throat with both hands and flails his legs on the ground, I crouch down and pick up the knife he tossed away. Well, if your throat happens to get cut, you won't be able to eat your snack anyway, I guess. I've got questions. Would you be so kind as to answer? What? Can't talk? Want me to open a hole in your lung? It'll release the air pressure so you can breathe nice and easy. The man responds to my offer by violently shaking his head from side to side. Don't worry, you've got 2 perfectly good lungs. Getting a hole poked in one won't kill you. As I stand looking down on him with the knife in one hand, the man scrambles desperately at the ground, trying to put some distance between us. Seriously, where do you think you're going? You wanted me to make it physically impossible for you to run? Just answer my questions, that's all I ask. First question. Who gave you the orders? One of you said this was your job, right? But you didn't show any interest in a little girl with money in her hand, so this wasn't just a stick-up. Somebody asked you, right? To beat the shit out of me in particular?
俺は知らないんだ。そこの鉢巻きの男が持ってきた仕事だ。あんたをボコれば30万くれるって。俺はただ一緒に来れば10万やるって言われて、何も知らずについてきただけなんだ。
Screwed up. Should have talked to him instead of you. Still grasping the knife in my hand, I glance back at the man with the bandana. He's flat on the asphalt, his eyes rolled all the way back in his head, drooling from the mouth. Well, whatever. Next question. Did you come after me knowing who I am? Do you know my name?
知らない。ただ、駅前で美浜学園の制服を着た男がいたらボコれって。そう言われただけで、名指しだったわけじゃない。
Well, that's expected. The first thing these guys asked me about was the Miyama uniform, and that's evidence that they were targeting a male Miyama Academy student rather than Kazami Yuji. That said, I'm the only male student at Miyama Academy at the moment. So ultimately, I was a specific target. But considering the bunch of clowns they sent, it's hard to think that this has any connection to anyone with a grudge related to my job. So who the hell? And for what reason? First things first. Doesn't seem like I'm gonna get anything useful out of you, does it? In that case, might as well finish this one off. Wake up, bandana man, and squeeze out of him.
Yeah. やめろ。やめてくれ。何をする気だ。
Don't get so worked up. Rest assured, I don't kill people. Well, sometimes they might wish I had. But by the time I'm through... What are you quivering about? Are you that scared to die? I realize that I'm still gripping the open knife in my hand. Ha, my bad. I'll give this back later. I released the folding knife's lock and shut the blade away with a snap. But I'd recommend not carrying toys like this around. Having one on hand makes you want to use it. With something like this in your pocket, your mouth gets smarter. You start swaggering around, picking stupid fights with people. And if you lose control, you end up doing something you can't take back. He's probably just trying to look cool, but depending on a toy like this to prop up your ego seems more pathetic from where I stand.
そこで何をしている?
bad. The blinding beam of flashlight shines through the dim alley into my face, and I instinctively shield my
全員
eyes.
路地から出ろ。おかしな真似はするなよ。
Yeah, no need to scream. I'm not an old man. My ears work just fine.
なんだ。またあんたか。
Long time no see. That's my line. I have to say, though, the police force in this town really is pretty impressive. Did you hear my
こ
scream?
こで喧嘩が起きていると通報があったんだよ。まさかと思って来てみりゃ。やっぱりあんたか。
What's that supposed to mean? Well, sounds like you think of me as that guy who's going to cause trouble sooner or later. Talk about rude.
みたいなも何もそのままだ。いつかやらかすとは思っていたが、こんなに早いとはな。
Oh, come on now. I'm the victim here, you know.
だったらその手にしたものは何だ。武器を捨てろ。
I'm still holding the knife I took from the man in my hand. I guess I won't be able to talk myself out of this one. Damn it, guess that's that.
お兄ちゃんどうしたの
Aha, and of course, she has to come back at this exact moment. When I turn around, I find Makina standing behind me, ice cream cones in both hands.
この子はあんたの妹か。
No, I'd guess you'd call her my
あん
classmate.
たクラスメートの女の子にお兄ちゃんって呼ばせてるのか。
Well... For some reason, I got the feeling this policeman's mental image of me is getting worse by the second.
とにかく署まで来てもらうぞ。
Yeah, fine.
お兄ちゃん
Don't worry, it's not like I'm getting arrested. I'll be back as soon as I explain the situation, so you go ahead and head home. I drop a hand on Makina's head with a gentle thump and use my other hand to take the ice cream cone she bought for me. Thanks for the ice cream.
その子も関係者だろう。勝手に返しちゃ困るな。
I said I'd come, didn't I? She's everything to do with it. Go ahead, Makina.
死なないで
I'm not going off to war. Don't make that face. I'll be back soon. When I give her back a light push, Makina slowly walks away, pausing several times to glance back at me. After watching her disappear around a corner, I turn to face the policeman.
ずいぶんと似合わんな。
Even I can be kind of children when the mood strikes.
そうじゃない。それだよ。
The policeman points at my hand where I'm holding my caramel ribbon cone. Mind your own business. I sink my teeth into the ice cream Makina bought me. Ah, back here again. You know what? I think I'm going to save this for the next episode, so I will see you guys all later, and take it easy.